Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, in this video you are going to learn about Temporal Workflow Engine. So if you don't know about what is this Temporal Workflow Engine, this video for you, keep watch until end of this video. At the end of the video you will get to know why we need these workflow engines and what are the problems these workflow engines are resolving and what is the benefit we have used in this Temporal IO, the workflow engine. All these things you are going to learn in this video. Then guys, without much more talk, let's begin the video. Why I decided to share this advanced topic with you all is because when I was go through this official Temporal IO documentation, I end up with the frustration because I go in depth, I research about what kind of a problem is resolving, why we need this workflow engine. When I was referring all these things, I get lost. So if you talk about workflow engine, we have a lot of workflow engines available out there. If you search it on internet, you can find it lot of workflow engines with a different name. But in this video specifically, we are going to talk about Temporal IO. So why we need this Temporal IO? As I told before, Temporal IO is a workflow engine. So let's say for example, if you are developing an application that taking a long processing time, the applications like if you are developing a order management, or if you are developing a payment processing application, or infrastructure pipeline, a customer onboarding application, or logistic management, or AI model training, or this kind of a long running activities, if you are developing, you must need to go with workflow engine. Why? Because this is giving you lot of benefit. Like let's say for example, you are writing a code in your application, you are writing to develop this kind of application without Temporal IO. Imagine that kind of a scenarios. Then what happen is, normally let's say your server is down, right? So something is happened. So what happen is the entire process, like the entire activities get abandoned or get terminated, right? So that is, you can't retrieve all the things. Suppose you are written a code to retrieve the process and holding somewhere or maintaining the state of that activity. All things are little bit tricky, right? So you need to spend a lot of time. Sometimes end up with errors, mess up with your codes. This is the reason why these Temporal IO is come to the picture. The workflow engine is come to the picture here. These are the benefit have if you are using a workflow engines. Like it is guaranteed to execute a completion, and this is really suitable to handle a long running and complex task, and failure will be definitely, even the network issue or system crash, you can definitely handle it correctly, handle it gracefully, and also you can continue from where it left off, even it is a failure. And also we have this option and automatic retries options and timeout rollback occur in response process is failed. So these are the benefit we have if you are using a Temporal, right? So this is why we need Temporal, right? So these are basically extremely difficult if you are developing a traditional application. So if you are using this kind of workflow engines like Temporal IO providing workflow engines, so this is basically really helpful and it will save you a lot of time, right? So that's all about this Temporal IO. Then let's see how this Temporal IO is works, right? So for this one guys, I will take one of the use case scenario, that is money transferring. So I come up with a small chart, then you will get more clarity on what is this Temporal IO and how this working, the workflow and all. Because if you are reading that official documentation, you are get messed a little bit. So due to this reason, I come up with my own things. Then you will grab the concept very clearly and you can apply to your project, right? So I already told you guys, right? So these are the applications if you are planned to develop, you are going to use this workflow engine. So guys, in this video I will show you that the use case scenarios first of all. After that I will go through this their Temporal IO official documentation. Finally I show the demo as well. And this is what the scenario is. This is basically a money transferring use case scenario. So one money transferring scenario. So in this diagram you can able to see the one of the user is there. She is basically doing the money transaction, and here you can see this is what our temporal server. And don't worry guys, this is just a high level diagram. You can able to see this is I took from official documentation. And here you can see the worker is there, and this worker has kind of activities like withdraw and deposit, and the bank is there, right? So the transfers happen, withdraw and depositing. So this is what normally the scenario we are going to have a look in this video, right? So now let's see how this temporal workflow actually works. This architecture, you can able to see the workflow is there, and activity is there, and worker is there, and task queue is there. Let's talk about one by one. So the workflow, if you take this workflow, the workflow is the place where you call these all activities, right? So in this our scenario, we have in this workflow is just a function. Thinking about that is just a function, right? So in this workflow we have this we are withdrawing the money, right? And after that we are depositing the money to the different account. Something is failed in the deposit, then we are just refunding. We are calling the another activity called refund. Actually this is an example scenario I taken. This is from the official documentation. And so guys, you know that now we have a workflow and activities. So workflow is the place where all you are keeping the activities which you want to do, and activities is a different place, and you are keeping all the business logic like withdrawal, deposit and refund. These all are just a function, right guys? And here you can see the worker is come to the picture here. So what this worker will do is, worker is basically register this workflow and these activities in the one place, right? So and the same you can see in the above, we have a task queue. So task queue is something, let's say if you are running a workflow, right? So all these activities get remaining as it is until the worker come to the picture. So once this worker is get start, then what the worker is doing is taking all these remaining tasks from the task queue and just execute the workflow. So this is what normally the worker is doing, and the task queue is basically keep holding all the workflow in the queue. So then worker gets started. This one is this worker is checking the task queue and pick one by one and execute that workflow. So this is what normally doing, right? And also guys, you can able to develop these workflow with your favorite programming language. At the moment this is support Java, PHP and Python, .NET, TypeScript and Go language. So you can pick one of your favorite programming language and you can develop your workflows, right guys? Okay, then let's go to actual temporal website, temporal.io official documentation. If you search it on Google, temporal.io, you can land to this page. So let's click this link. This is what the temporal is, right? So basically this is a workflow engine which is execute your workflows and activities, right? I'm not going through all of these, and I'm not going to explain all of these what this documentation mentioned. Instead of that, I'm going to get start with this temporal IO, right? So let's go to how it work, and let's go to documentation. Here you can see there's a lot of topics behind here, like why we need temporal and a major component and security release and etc etc. But I'm not going through all of these here. Instead of that, I'm just get start with this application, right? So here you can see that in this get start you can able to select your favorite programming language, and I'm going with the TypeScript here. And in this TypeScript, first you need to set up the local development environment. So make sure you're installing Node.js, and after that you need to, so I'm using a Windows, we need to install the temporal CLI or temporal server. So due to this reason, you need to download this temporal CLI for Windows AMD 64. Actually, it is already downloaded, and after that you need to set the environment variable, and that's all you need to do at the moment. So once that is done, you need to run this command called temporal server start dev. Then what happen is the workflow UI will be get run and with the instance, right? So let me show you that. I'm using the temporal server start dev. Now you can see, if you go above, you can see the server is started on 8233. This is the port which is running. So 127, that is mean that it is running on localhost. And let me add localhost. This is how the user interfaces look like. So at the moment we don't have any workflows, right? We don't have any workflows or activities running at the moment. I will show you in a bit, but before going to that, you can able to see this is how the UIs look like, and the schedule, workflow, archive, and batches, namespace, all the things you can able to see here, right? Let's clone this first application. So this is a money transferring application. It's a small application, and I already explained this scenario, how it really works, right? And let's clone this repository. I'm cloning this one. So now what I am doing is I am go inside this directory, and after that I am doing first npm install. Now let's open this in VS Code. Now if you go to package.json, you can able to see that relevant dependencies. What are the dependencies actually required for running this workflow, right? So the temporal IO activity is there, client, worker, workflow, and the common, all this thing is there. And nano ID Mocha is basically testing framework, and nano ID is just generating a what you can say, that random numbers, right? So this is the demo application we are going to see, right? Now if you expand this src, you can able to see that workflow is there. So this is what the workflow is, right? And the activities are there. So this is what the activities, these are just a function. I already told you guys, withdraw, deposit, and refund. So these are just functions. These all the business logic written in the activities, right? Now if you take this workflow TS, in the workflow TS, this is just a one function which is money transferring. This is what the workflow is. In this money transferring, you can able to see we are importing these withdraw, deposit, and refund from these activities. And after that, you can able to see that retry policies. The retry is really helpful here, because you can see that maximum attempt. So if you are not specify this maximum attempt, how many attempts you want to try, if suppose something is happen, if you are not specify that attempts count, it will by default infinite. And after that, if you go, if you scroll down, you can see the first try is withdraw. So first we are withdrawing from the amount from the account, first account, right? The source account, amount, and reference ID. And suppose if it is get fail, throw this error. If it is success, then scroll down and you can see deposit the money to another account, right? And suppose if this get fail, then do the refunding. This is what the process is, right? So these are basically activities. So these all activities defined in this workflow, right, one by one. So this is what the workflow, and now you know that what is this activity and why we need this workflow, right? Go to worker TS. In this worker TS, you can able to see we are registering all the workflow and activities with the worker to connect to the temporal server. Now you can see we are writing a worker create and workflow path, and the activity is basically all the activities related things we import here, and the namespace and task queue. Task queue is I already explained in the diagram. Task queue is something that when workflow is running, keep all the workflow in this task queue. This is just you need to keep in the string. So this is just a money transferring. Task queue name is basically money transferring. When you are defining or registering the queue, registering the worker, you need to mention that task queue name as well, right? And also guys, if you go back to the client TS is nothing but just to start the workflow. So in this client TS guys, this is just written to run this workflow direct away, but actual scenarios normally this is not like that. Actual scenarios, if you are implementing something with the real world application, this workflow is get started when form submit is happen, or when button is clicked, or the URL when you are navigate to different URL or something. So this kind of when these kind of interactions happen, only this workflow will get started. But for the demo purpose, this is written in the client TS different file name to run this workflow. And here you can see this is the params we are going to pass as an input. The amount is 400, source account and target account, the reference ID is given. And here you can see the starting transfer money from account, the source account to target account with the amount of the money. And here is a place where this workflow is get starting, right? Client start, the function name, the workflow name, you can see that is available in this workflow TS file, that is the money transferring. We are calling that one, and in the argument we are passing this object, and task queue again we are mentioned here. The workflow ID also mentioned here. So guys, this is just a workflow ID, the static ID, but suppose if you are developing a real world application, this workflow ID should be unique, right? Keep that in mind. So once all these are done, you can see that started workflow and the workflow ID, that running ID, the first execution run ID. And we are waiting after that handled result. Once everything are done, this is get print, right? So this is what normally doing is, right? Now let's go to this shared TS file. Shared TS file, you already saw that this is just a type file, and the task queue and the namespaces are defined here. The banking client, you can able to see, actually we are not calling actual API. Instead of that, we written a small class here. In this demo you can able to see small class account bank, and the first finding account and get account balance, all these things are there guys. This is the only things, and here you can see we create a bank instance here. The account this is what the account is, mock bank account. We are creating a new account with this account name, and 2000 is the amount, and this is the 0, another account, right? And here if you come to this withdraw, you can able to see withdraw is expecting source account, amount and reference ID. And first checking the source account from this mock bank. If the account is not available, then it will throw invalid account error. And if the amount, the return amount is greater than account balance, right, then it show this insufficient fund error. And if these two are false, then this is return generate a transaction ID, withdraw, and just 10 number to generate 10 number of characters we are generating for this transaction, right? Likewise, you can able to see the deposit also same, right? And deposit that fail is the different scenario. Suppose deposit is fail after withdrawing the money. This is the function you can able to see to simulate the error scenarios, right? I will come to that later. Let's run this application first. Let me open another window. So what I am doing is temporal server start dev, and after that you need to mention db file name is basically testdb.db, and if you hit now you can see the testdb is get created here. The one of the file get had here, Why? Because we need to persist all the workflow running information. Normally, let's say if you are running a temporal server and start dev, what happen is each and every time when you are stop running your temporal server, what happen is all the instance get clear out, because it's just keep storing in your memory. But in this scenario, I don't want to lose my existing running workflow or complete workflows. If I stop use this temporal, if I stop this temporal server, due to this reason I use this command. All this information you can able to find it on the official documentation, guys, right? Now our temporal server is running. Now I'm opening another terminal here. I think the terminal is already opened, right? So what I'm doing is, now I'm going to run the client. So the client command, how to run that client, you can able to see this is our client. This is the way how to run this client, right? So what this client will do is start the workflow. Now you can see starting transfer from account, this account to that account, just a $400. Now second, you can see start workflow pay, invoice 801 with run ID is there. Now let's go to our workflow and do the refresh. Now you can able to see one of the workflow is running, right? So the status is running and we have a workflow ID, run ID, type and start date, and this is still running, so we don't have a end date yet, right? Now let's go to workflow ID here. In the workflow ID you can able to see the summary, right, and the task queue, and also you can able to see if you expand this input result. So this is the input we are getting from when we are run this workflow. These are the input we are getting from the client, right? And you can able to see result will appear upon completion. So this is not yet complete because still this activity is running. So let's see now. Here you can see the event histories, right? Event history, you can see that the workflow execution is started, right? So when this is get started, these are the input we are getting, and after that you can see that task queue name money transfer. So this is get scheduled, but the problem is our temporal server is running, our workflow is running, so all these things are running. Task is still in the queue because this is not going to be executed until one of the worker get added to this workflow, right? So this is the reason why you need this worker, right? Let's open another terminal and let's run the worker here. Now to run this worker you need to run npm run worker, right? Once you hit this one, you can able to see that worker is get starting. You can see this this is started. Now you can see that withdrawing $400 from this account and depositing $400 into this account. Now you can see at the same time this workflow is completed, right? Now you can see the end close time and the start time and state of transitions, and able to see the worker is there. You can see that this is what the worker is, and the history, if you see this history, you can see that previously we have only these two. After that workflow is started and first is withdraw activities get called, right? We have this withdraw activity. After that we are getting the result activity task is complete, so that means the withdrawal is success. That ID will get print here, the random ID withdraw, this is the number. And after that the second activities get run, that is deposit activity, and once this so in the result you can able to see the deposit also success. Due to this reason it will generating this result. Yes. Once all are done, at the finally execution is complete, you can able to see transfer complete, transaction ID this one, and deposit ID is this one. How cool it is. Let me go to these activities, sorry, this workflow. You can see that now withdraw is happen, and after that deposit happen. Once all these are done, we are getting return complete transaction ID, withdrawal result, and deposit result. How cool it is. Imagine guys, if you are developing application, right, normally traditional application, if you are developing these kind of a thing, maintaining the state and getting the progress of that particular state or a workflow, all these things are really complicated. This is the reason why these kind of temporal workflow or these kind of engines come to the picture. So this is resolving a lot of problem guys. Yeah, true, that is true. And also guys, let's simulate one kind of a bug when what happen if suppose the deposit is failed. So right now we are going to see how the retrieve is working when some errors is happen, right? Let's see now that. So make sure stop this worker, stop this worker, and make sure your workflow is also stopped, right? Now go to these activities and command this return keyword, and instead of that just uncommand this one. So deposit that failed. So we are going to call deposit that failed. That means this one, right? What happen is we are getting this get throw the deposit as failed, right? Let's save this one. Now let's run the workflow again. Now you can see that workflow is running now. Here you can see starting transfer from account again, and this is waiting until the worker is get start because our worker is still not run. Now you can see this is started. We not yet face that error. These activities get execute once after the worker is running, right? Now you can see that I start the worker here. Okay, now you can see that you are getting a kind of error, activity fail, right? So what happen is this is retrying. So this is deposit has deposit has failed is the error message, and you can see that this is retrying. The retries get called here. So how to check that is if you go to this let me refresh again. If you go to this workflow, this is what the workflow is. Now you can see that pending activities, right? So in the pending activities you can see that the withdrawal is happen. You can see that the activity type is withdraw and the result is happen. Now when we are calling this deposit, we are getting an error. So now if you go to these pending activities, you can able to see that number of attempts so far happen, attempts left at the moment from the 500. This is happening when this deposit get called, deposit is get called. Now you can see that this deposit has failed. This is the last failure. And also guys, you can able to see in the pending activities, you can able to see the activity type, attempts and last attempts, next retry, expiry, all the things you can able to see here, right? And also in the if you click this stack trace, you can able to see where these actually this is get failed, right? So this is the file where it get failed. So that worker TS 3426. Now guys, you know that now we are halfway through this process, right? We are on the halfway, so it's already run in the halfway. Like activity withdraw is get called, when deposit get called only this problem is happening. So how to resolve this in even if even the workflow is even the activity is in the halfway? This is possible with the temporal IO or this workflow engine. Let me show you that. First what you need to do is just stop the worker, right? After that, go back to your activity TS. This is what the real benefit of using the workflow, and I am uncover this again, and now what I am going to do is I am going to run this worker. Once again I am running the worker. Now you can able to see that this will get complete. Now you can see that this is running, still running, I guess. Yes, I guess it's still running. Let me refresh. Now you can see that deposit account. Look at this, guys. This is done. So it took a couple of seconds because this is happening in the failure scenario. So even you can see that now, even if you are introduce a bug in the code, if the activity is running on half a way, and if you want to fix it, that is in your code, you can fix it and start then again. It starts from where you are left over, right? So where you are left, it's begin the workflow or activities from that state, and it will complete the workflow. So this is what the beauty of this workflow. So that is a one kind of scenarios we saw that. Now let's see what happens if the server is down. Okay, let's see now that. So now what I'm doing is let's stop this worker again, and what I'm doing is I'm running the workflow again, right? Now if you refresh, now you can see that our one of the workflow is running. What I am doing is now I am stop this temporal workflow server, right? Now this is get stopped. Now if I do refresh, you can see that the site is down, right? Now what I am doing is again I am running this temporal server with, don't forget to specify that db file name, right guys? Then you can see now if I do refresh, you can able to see still our workflow is running, right? This is what the beauty of this workflow engine. Even the server failed, your instance is still running up and down, right? Now to complete, I'm running this worker again, then this task will get complete, right guys? So this is what the workflow engine is. I hope you guys enjoy this video and learn something new today, and now you know that what is this temporal IO. Now you have a basic understanding of what is this temporal IO and what is this workflow, how this architecture is, and how actually this is running, and what kind of a benefit we have if you are using this workflow engine. All these things you know right now. And guys, I have a small request to all of you. If you are not yet subscribed my channel, go below and hit the subscribe button, and if you like our video, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to click the bell button. If you do, only once I upload a new video you will get notified. Then guys, have a great day. I will catch you on new video.